Hey, we are launching this new study based on the book of Colossians. This morning we've just read through the first 14 verses. Going to spend a little bit of time looking at that tonight. But here's the core of it. The fingerprint of the gospel is faith, hope, and love. And then, of course, the fruit of the gospel: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That should be seen in the lives of those who are living for Jesus. If you've heard the gospel, received it, and you've allowed it to take root in your life, then the Spirit of God lives inside of you. The Spirit of Jesus Himself lives inside of you. So ask yourself this question: is the gospel bearing fruit in my life and in the lives of those around me? Would other people see the fruit of the Spirit? Would they see faith, hope, and love as just a core part of who you are? Or do you just fall apart, fly apart at the, just as soon as everything starts to go sideways, life just becomes a chore? Take some time in your group tonight and go deeper in this idea. If the gospel is the foundation for developing the fruit of the Spirit in our lives, what kind of soil has Jesus found your heart to be? Let's look at the teaching of Jesus on the parable of the sower and also the parable of the mustard seed. When the gospel takes root in our heart, nothing can stop its growth. It's going to spread. It is going to be like a wildfire that takes off. And when we allow the Spirit of God to produce in us that which makes Him smile, our life becomes a sheltering tree to everybody around us. They come to us because they see that faith, hope, and love in us, that solid foundation that we all long for. They see it in our lives whenever we're living for Jesus, and we have this solid foundation of Christ in our lives. Here's another thing I'd like you to do tonight. If you were to take Paul's prayer, Paul and Timothy's prayer, which they pray toward the end of, starting like verse 9 through 14. If you were to take that prayer that they are praying for the church of Colossae and apply it to your life or to the life of those around you, would that make a difference for them? We always wonder, and I hear it quite often, how can I know God's will for my life? Well, we have this example in this very simple prayer, but very specific prayer of how we can ask for God's wisdom and a deeper understanding, deeper knowledge of who He is and what His plans are. Paul and Timothy are praying this for the church in Colossae. And I believe we can apply that to our own lives. We can take that same prayer and pray it for our children. I want my kids to have the deepest understanding possible of who God is and what He longs for of them, what He's calling them and who He's calling them to be. I believe we can ask God those things. James, brother of Jesus, says very clearly, if you lack wisdom, if any of you lacks wisdom, he says, you can ask God and He'll give it to you. And I believe that's the core of what Paul and Timothy are praying for the church in Colossae here. There's a verse that just stands out to me at the end of our passage today, verses 13 and 14. Paul and Timothy write this: for He has rescued us from the kingdom of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of His dear Son, who purchased our freedom and forgave our sins. We live in a dark time, and it seems like it's getting darker every day. You watch the news, hear the news cycle, and we think the news this month or last month was bad. But my goodness, and you just flip a switch, and now we're going in a totally different direction, and our minds are just lost in the depravity of man. We are completely lost and just given to this dark world that is all around us. But the reality is Jesus has called us out of that. We've been called out of darkness into His light, the light of His kingdom. Are you living that way this week? Is the light of Christ shining through you in such a way that you have confident faith, you have confident hope, and you have love for all people, no matter what's going on in your life? I pray that you have an incredible time with your group tonight. You guys are going to have some great discussion. You're going to read some other passages outside of just Colossians, and I know you're going to have some incredible discussion. God bless you. We'll see you Sunday.